Are we in line? Got that over there by the... President McCulloch Lovell, Mr. McKibben, Dr. Glazer, Ms. Porche, Ms. Witzberger, Mr. Gwast, fellow trustees, Marlboro faculty, distinguished guests, and most importantly, the class of 2012. Welcome to the 65th commencement of Marlboro College. I am Dean Nisseper. I'm the chairman of the Board of Trustees of Marlboro College. Thank you all for joining us at this 65th commencement. Commencement is always one of my personal favorite events at Marlboro. It's wonderful to see the entire community coming together to celebrate and honor the members of the graduating class who have worked so hard and who represent the culmination not only of their own efforts, but also the efforts of all the faculty, the administrators, the trustees, the parents, and family members over the past 4 years. To the class of 2012, let me be the first to congratulate you. 37 years ago, I sat where you sit today at my graduation from Marlboro. And all of you in our 2012 class are graduates and are about to be graduates and about to join me and all of the Marlboro alumni. And you will learn the pride that I feel being a member of Marlboro, still in the community here as an alum. I ask that each of you periodically think back to your time here at Marlboro, appreciate what it has meant to your life and what it has contributed to you as a person. And I ask you to come back to Marlboro and again be rewarded by sharing your experiences and your intellect with this community. And we will, of course, ask you for support financially so that Marlboro will continue to be as important to students in many generations to come as it is to you and me. Thank you and congratulations to our graduating class. I now have the enormous pleasure of introducing to you a person whose leadership over the past 8 years has contributed enormously to Marlboro's financial soundness and given the college a much greater awareness of what it is, of what it can be, and what it will be. The president of Marlboro College, Ellen McCulloch Lovell.
Thank you, Dean, for your warm welcome and your great service. What a day for celebration. Lilacs and apple blossoms, our musicians playing us in, parents, siblings, grandparents gathered to applaud you, seniors. And you, in your robes and best shoes or no shoes and creative millinery, your high spirits, low spirits, can't wait to get your diploma or nostalgic, don't want to leave feelings. Take a deep breath, look around you, be present in this final ceremony. It is most profoundly a ceremony of gratitude. We thank the families and friends who supported these graduates through these years. We thank the Board of Trustees for their constant stewardship of this college and ask them to stand and be recognized. Each year when I listen to faculty talk about your work and I read the plan book, I realize this day celebrates them equally. Those mentors who guided you to this hour. We thank the faculty of Marlboro College. I do want to recognize one person who is completing her retirement this year after 25 years of teaching, who during that time taught us how to write, set high standards, and to persevere, Laura Stevenson. This year, we also say goodbye to visiting Professor Michael Huffmaster and two fellows, all of whom became part of our intellectual community, Mohammed Jalal, Fulbright Arabic Fellow, and William Gwast, Classics Fellow. And we thank the staff who guided your Marlboro journey, advising, cajoling, encouraging. 2012 was Marlboro's 65th anniversary. In 1947, no one was thinking about global warming, and a group of scholars and GIs were building a college out of two old farms, tenting under the apple trees while they renovated Mather House and attending classes in the barn, now our dining hall. Today, there are 70 of you, and Bill McKibben is our speaker. Ever since you started your senior year, I've been wondering, what is it about you, class of 2012? Your freshman year brought the ice storm when we evacuated after 56 hours with no power. Your last year started with the floods of Irene when we were totally isolated for 3 days. Your answer? You told me, we're tough. Yes, and I'd say you are resilient as Marlboro College. After the storm, some here today slept in candlelit houses or in their offices. One faculty member biked through the mud and ruts of Ames Hill when it was impassable. One community member escaped out the window of his truck after it was engulfed by water. Another drove 300 pounds of dry ice to keep the food fresh. We ate rice and beans and cold cuts. We took perverse Marlboro pride in being one of the most isolated communities after the storm. Student leaders and nearby faculty invented activities to keep new students engaged. We were creative. We were resilient. What is resilience anyway? You might be amused by one definition: the property of a material that enables it to resume its shape after being bent, stretched, or compressed, especially by stress. It's that ability to bounce back after adversity, to see failure from a different perspective. Working on the electric light bulb, Thomas Edison said, "I haven't failed. I've identified 10,000 ways this doesn't work." Author Ernest Hemingway put it more darkly. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, some are strong at the broken places. But we weren't broken, and we didn't stay isolated. We finally convened to do what we do here: talk, make things, test ideas, and participate. Students helped clean up stricken neighbors in Brattleboro and applied their communications and design skills to support nearby Wilmington. It turns out that they're resilient communities. You found that out when you delivered babies in Kenya or lived in Japan during the tsunami. And there is also the community that makes us resilient, the place that cushions your fall, the friends that hold you. Our kind of resilience is not about learning to remain the same, but how to change. Isn't that why you went to college in the first place? We didn't expect you, when stretched, to snap back into shape like rubber bands. Your teachers welcomed and waited for the new shapes you were forming. The whole academic experience is designed to find out what new shape you will take. You wrote papers, got them back with your teacher's comments all over them. You revised. You carried out an experiment and didn't get the results you expected. You analyzed, found a better question to test. In the studio or at rehearsal, you painted over. You missed the notes, or you slipped, stood up, and modified the movement. The hooks on the kinetic sculpture didn't quite catch the rings that moved the needle, so you rejiggered the disc. You didn't just bounce back, you changed the shape. College is life, not different. What about emotional resilience? One metaphor might be the climbing wall. You climb, but there's a spotter, maybe even a rope, and someone with more experience to help you. You suffered loss and turned it into art. You came as a war veteran, and you're leaving a writer. You received the critique. You became your own critic. You revised your lives at Marlboro College. Why is Marlboro so resilient? Because here, yourself took shape around others. And here comes the really serious part. Why resilience is so important. You will leave here and have at least 8 jobs in your future, some of which you won't just take, you will create. You are entering a difficult economy, and you will make your way. Those skills of confidence, clear writing, supple thinking will serve you well. When I see you at alumni reunions, you'll tell me what a great NGO you're working for, what business you started, how you are making art, about your PhD program and your children. Author T.H. White, reflecting on the disappointments that life will bring, concluded, "There is only one thing for it, then, to learn. Learn why the world wags and what wags it. That is the only thing which the mind can never exhaust, never alienate, never be tortured by, never fear or distrust, and never dream of regretting. Learning is the thing for you." And that is the clue to why Marlboro is so resilient, because we never stop learning. Here's just some of what you've taught me. About classes, you said, you can explore the content, but that's not what you'll remember. It's your responsibility to know what you need to know. About plan, the stress is due to an exaggerated, cultivated culture of stress. We talk about being a supportive community, but we don't talk about solitude. Solitude is also instructive. Keep the flexibility, the student-centeredness at the heart of Marlboro. Keep bridges and wood strips. Keep the level of student participation and governance. It's as important as academics. We should have more puppies and children on campus. And finally, we are tough, and you are. here you are, about to leave. Remember how to bounce, how to revise, how to ask a better question, how to be a friend. Remember this thought from transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next speaker transferred to Marlboro as a junior after attending Antioch College and making puppets in Bali, where she learned Bamanakan. Here, she studied, focusing on politics and visual art, while also working. Her college career spanned 2 continents and 4 institutions. Elected by her peers to speak today, she is an example of resilience. Shea Witzberger.
I didn't think I was going to be in the class of 2012 at one point. But over half a decade later, here I am. I'm so honored, seniors, to be speaking to you, to our families, our friends, and alongside such accomplished, inspiring, and dedicated nerds. This is an amazing day in a way that no other commencement in the history of ever has been. You know, as a transfer student especially, that I don't believe in Marlboro exceptionalism. It's great, but a lot of places are great. Marlboro has taught me a lot, but this day is not uniquely exceptional because of the amazing plans that we wrote, danced, sang, and acted. It's amazing that we pulled so much off at the last minute, but that's not what makes it uniquely amazing. We deserve hearty congratulations for completing these degrees in such a way, but I feel that our time here has gone underappreciated in one way. I have heard slim to no praise for completing college in 2012, the year of the apocalypse. This is the least reasonable time in history to get a liberal arts degree. And I'm not even talking about job prospects or starting salaries. I'm talking about the impending Armageddon. While working so hard on our own projects last year, you may have missed some key doom signs. It's okay. You were in a dark plan cave. You were typing for 1,000 hours. Academic productive zombiehood prevailed during this dark age. And while I'm glad to see you back in the social world, exposing yourselves to the sunlight, wearing graduation robes instead of bathrobes, I have some news for you. Please allow me to recap the writing on the wall. Doom sign. The rapture. Do you remember? A rapture happened while we were finishing school. Number 2, revolutions spread across the globe. Everyone occupied everything. Some of us skipped class to join in. There were hurricanes and floods and tsunamis, but I will leave that for Bill McKibben to talk about. Continued economic uncertainty kept little institutions like this one shivering in fear like an endangered tropical bird in a nuclear winter. Sallie Mae was named an honorary 5th horseman of the apocalypse this year. And her first hellish deed was an attempt to repossess this speech, so you wouldn't find out. If, seniors, as you finished your oral examinations, visions of smokers on a party barge on a fire pond didn't bring vivid images to your mind of Waterworld, I suggest revisiting your VHS collections. Global weirding is certainly upon us. And despite the amazing, inspiring, articulate, and rational call to arms that I'm sure you're going to see from Bill McKibben about saving the planet, I'd like you to take a moment to remember the Mayan prophecies. Have fun arguing against that activism in science. Seniors, as your fragile transitional minds drift toward worry about all of those little anythings, worry about moving back in with your parents, how you'll survive an unpaid internship, if there will be any unpaid internships to be had after the survivors of whatever crazy apocalypse happens, remember the old cliche that liberal arts colleges teach you how to think. And maybe, just maybe, this place taught you a few things about how to think about surviving the black hole of a twilight zone that Marlboro is regurgitating you back into. Marlboro taught us that when the going gets rough, it's great to have surrounded yourself with dedicated self-starters and lots of camping equipment. Marlboro taught us that when there weren't any cups left in the dining hall and town meeting was still arguing about whether or not to buy new cups, we could drink out of bowls. I did it. Don't pretend you didn't do it. Marlboro taught us that when resources are slim, people are going to argue about whether or not women should get any of those resources. And in the meantime, you have found the dream future fuel for creating excellent feminist criticism. Marlboro taught us to examine and change our own governing processes, to watch how our governing structures handle crisis, and to improve that process. This will mean that we are the people best prepared for leadership roles in the transient governments of the space colonies. These are all vital skills for 2013 and beyond, if we make it that far. In closing, no one doubts that this is a weird time to be the bright-eyed graduate of a liberal arts school. But I would be doing you a disservice by letting you celebrate with your loved ones about your accomplishments in such certain and dire times. Think about stockpiling the refreshments on your way out, folks. A sharp social mind, an ability to thrive in uncertainty, and some really heavy-duty crampons and vacuum-sealed food packets. These are the Marlboro alums of the future. I ask that you all glean from these beautiful, joyous moments, these final moments of the last glorious golden days on this beautiful hill, what pragmatic and critical knowledge you can, because it is a cold, cold world out there. But it is getting warmer at an alarming rate. Thank you.
I'll give you all a couple minutes to recover. I'd like to invite Dean Nisseper and Harold Grinspoon to the podium. Harold?
Harold, you attended Marlboro in its infancy, from 1948 to 1950. You are one of our true pioneers. Then you founded Aspen Square Management, a successful real estate company in nearby Western Massachusetts with properties across the country. But the best measure of your success is in the realm of philanthropy. where your caring generosity is an inspiration to your community and the world. You created the Harold Grinspoon Foundation, which since 1993 has supported education in inner-city Springfield, encouraged energy conservation, and supported Jewish life among young people and families to the tune of $110 million. More recently, you launched the PJ Library, distributing free books on subjects of Jewish life and traditions to 100,000 children in communities across the country each month. Harkening back to your own entrepreneurial beginnings at Marlboro, where you installed the first coin-operated washing machine. You are deeply supportive of entrepreneurial spirit. You have a special talent for reorganizing and mentoring talent, giving young women the opportunity to develop leadership skills. Philanthropy commentator Maya Norton calls you the quintessential example of the perfect donor. She says, he feels a deep sense of personal and social responsibility to the world around him. He is invested in his community and considers himself a key agent of social change. With your characteristic generosity, enthusiasm, and personal humility, you have promoted literacy and early childhood education, rewarded the excellence in teaching, supported education and health in Cambodia, and much, much more. We are honored that the Grinspoon Foundation helps fund financial aid for Marlboro students as well. As your wife and philanthropic partner, Diane Troderman, observes, you are deeply patriotic and exercise your right to care profoundly. Harold Grinspoon, it is our pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters. Thanks, Bill.
In 1948, my mother drove me up here. She opened the door and said, "This is it." And Dr. Hendricks greeted me. Marlboro College has been a phenomenal place for me to learn the alphabet of education. I came to major in business. I ended up in philosophy. But it was that liberal arts education that has always stood with me and made me the person I am today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Marlboro.
May I invite Dean Nissiper and Verandah Porche to the podium. For more than 40 years, you have been the most community-minded poet in Vermont, opening our ears to the creative voices within schools, nursing homes, prisons, and neighborhoods. Born in New Jersey and graduated from Boston University, you founded the Total Loss Farm with friends in nearby Guilford, where you still live with your daughter. You have published 3 fine books of poetry, and your work has appeared in numerous magazines. Where you really make your mark is as a public poet. You said, "I've made a living stringing words together. I wanted my life to be a poem. Later, I wanted yours as well," referring to your many rich collaborations. You were one of the very first poets this young arts administrator placed in a classroom residency in my very first job with the Vermont Arts Council in 1970. and you are still one of the most active poets in the schools. You are the longest-serving faculty member of the Governor's Institute on the Arts, engaging promising high school students in the art of writing. You developed a practice called told poetry, shared narratives that enable people to create, preserve, and share personal literature, working in crisis centers, hospitals, factories, and senior centers. You shared the collective narratives of Guilford in the Broadbrook Anthology, a play commemorating the town's 250th anniversary. A Vermont Arts Council panel said, "Verandah sees our living, breathing communities and people as American masterpieces." She puts this light into each person and with so much appreciation and honor. Now you see that everyone is extraordinary. Marlboro College is a community that also brings out the extraordinary in students. Verandah Porche, it is our pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
This poem shows my familiarity with the alphabet. It contains only the letters in Marlboro College. Talk about nerdy. And this has an audience participation part. When I say Marlboro, then you say Marlboro. Okay, let's practice. Marlboro. Marlboro. Okay, but you don't have to say it after the title. Okay. Marlboro Collage. Come Marlboro. Marlboro. Regale me. A carol, rag or raga. Creole, bolero, ballroom, combo, bell, oboe, cello. Oh, beagle, camel, cobra, eagle, lamb, mare, orca, ram, clog, cram, gamble, merge, corral me. Oh, regal crag, oh, local acre, arbor all abloom, corm, corolla, raceme, robe me. Recall a roll, a gal, a gable, Romeo, cameo, ogre, oracle. Oh, Marlboro. Marlboro. Color meager ego, embrace cerebral glamour, rebel grace, able labor, care galore. Become me. O era, rare, omega, amber, ember, grab a gem, ramble, gleam. O global marble, embargo gloom. Ergo, be Marlboro. Thank you very much.
Rebecca, that was beautiful. Thank you, Matan. Just beautiful. Now I invite Dean and Bill McKibben to the podium. For more than 20 years, you have brought the compelling realities of global climate change and other social and environmental issues to light for millions of readers. You said, there is a tendency at every important but difficult crossroad to pretend that it's not really there. That gives us a clear map. You give us a clear map to navigate the perilous crossroads of our changing world. With your characteristic journalistic tenacity, you have published a dozen books and many more articles that jolt the complacence out of readers, alerting them to global perils ranging from genetic engineering to human population growth. Author Tim Flanner called you the most effective environmental activist of our age. He said, anyone interested in making a difference in our world can learn from Bill McKibben. But your impact goes far beyond words to the grassroots actions you inspire. In 2007, you launched a national campaign to curb carbon emissions, and you are the founder of 350.org, the international climate campaign. It emblazons in the global consciousness the fateful turning point of atmospheric carbon dioxide, 350 parts per million. Your message is taken to heart here at Marlboro, where we have active community groups dealing with environmental issues, a student-managed farm, a faculty-driven environmental studies program, and a class reducing our carbon footprint. Like you, we affirm that addressing global environmental challenges will take poets and psychologists and historians, as well as scientists and engineers. You recognize the importance of arts in the environmental movement because, as you said, we need to reach people who don't respond to bar graphs and pie charts. You even appeared with the Vermont Symphony Orchestra this month. I think it was the Vermont Youth Orchestra, yeah. Interspersing readings with composer Robert Patterson's A New Earth, inspired by your most recent book on global climate change. We honor you as our neighbor in Vermont, where you live in Ripton and serve as the Schumann Distinguished Scholar at Middlebury College. Middlebury President Ron Leibowitz said, few writers have had such a great impact on public perception of a critical issue in contemporary society. You say, what actually makes people happy is full engagement. You are most alive when working at the limit of your abilities. Your admirable commitment to environmental engagement and community-scale economics resonates strongly with the academic ideals upheld here at Marlboro. Bill McKibben, it is our pleasure to confer on you the degree Doctor of Letters.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. What a pleasure for me to be here. Now, there are a lot of people in this room, and I'm going to really direct my remarks at my, I guess now my colleagues in the class of 2012. Because of the way you're seated, it's going to make it look as if I'm sort of watching a slow-moving tennis game as I proceed. The rest of you are welcome to listen in, but mostly I want to congratulate y'all. This is an awfully big deal. I know many of you are going to go on to study later and things, but you know what? You've been in school since you were 3 or 4, and you've pretty much checked the last thing off the list that you actually have to do. You know, you've met the minimum and done it in real style. And in fact, really looking at the program, the only thing you have left to do is endure my talk. And since I've already got mine, it may go on a little while. But look, I've been looking forward to this on my calendar for a very long time. I'd never been to Marlboro, but I'd always intuited from a distance the kind of spirit and passion and distinctiveness of this place, and known that there were no other places quite like it in the country. And all I really want to do is just sit and talk with you about all the, about horror cinema and hagiography, about Frost and Foucault. Just reading the list of, from Pollination to Proust, from the Dutch Baroque to data analysis of urban fire departments. I would love to just sit and talk for hours and hours with you about all that you've done, and instead I'm going to talk at you, and then I'm going to ungraciously leave before this ceremony is even over, because I have to get to the West Coast tonight. They've just announced plans for a series of big coal ports on the West Coast to ship coal to Asia, and a number of our colleagues were arrested the other day trying to block a coal train coming to the West Coast, and I need to get there, but this is the thing that I most was looking forward to doing. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And so grateful that the year that began with Irene for you all ends on this beautiful, glorious day. It must be said that even beautiful, glorious days now carry a kind of freight that they didn't in the past. I don't know about you, but that March heat wave we had, that sort of freakish heat wave at the end of the winter when the temperature, in South Dakota, while it was still winter, the temperature was 94 degrees. And across Vermont, we were in the 80s, and we had place after place, 15,000 new temperature records set, and place after place where the low temperature for the day beat the old all-time high temperature mark, something that really should be statistically impossible, but happened over and over again. Those beautiful days when we were all out wandering around in shorts and T-shirt, still at the back of our minds, that sense that this was not how it should be, and it isn't how it should be. And the burden of what we have done to this world lays a little heavy on the older of us as we look at you. The greatest wish of people, I think, is to pass on to the world, to their children and grandchildren, a world in better shape than the one that they were born into, and we have failed at that task. The world is not in as good shape as it was when we were born. You know the chemistry and physics around climate change. You know that the most important thing that happened so far in your life is that this planet left what scientists call the Holocene, this 10,000-year period of benign stability and that underwrote the rise of human civilization. Sometime in the last 20 years, we crossed some invisible line into what comes next, and the only question now is how far down that path we will go, and that will largely be up to you. It is not just the physical world that in certain ways is less than it should be. Our society, too, is in certain ways not what we would hope. 50 years ago, the average American had twice as many close friends, statistically, as the average American of today. It's a very, very large loss, a very big change, and it explains why, statistically, we find that people in our society are nowhere near as happy as they were, feel as satisfied with their lives as they did some decades ago. These things aren't ideological. They're physics and chemistry and sociology, and they're not determinant either. The question is how to turn them around, how to keep them from getting worse and then reverse them, and how for you to build a world that you can leave with somewhat more pride than we do to you. The hallmark of Marlboro is this personal responsibility for your education and for your lives. And I have no doubt that you will keep that theme going. That you'll be, in all the ways that one can be responsible to one's community and to one's earth, do those things you can. I want to add, however, that as you go forward, you need also, and I know you already do, to think about it well beyond the kind of bounds of your own individual selves, and think a lot about the role that you can play in building communities strong enough to really turn things around. I deal with climate change, the most pressing problem human beings have ever faced. It's very clear why we're making no progress. The fossil fuel industry, the richest enterprise humans have ever engaged in, has been able to use that financial power to block change. They will always have more money than the rest of us, and so if we're going to turn them around, we will need to find other currencies to work in, and those are mostly the currencies of community, passion, spirit, creativity, the things that build movements. And it's been fun to watch these movements build over the last few years. We started 350.org with myself and 7 seniors at Middlebury 4 years ago, so people exactly like you. And now it's grown to be the great grassroots climate change movement around the world, active in every country but North Korea. And one of the, and we may not get there anytime soon. One of the things that I always think when I'm at college, but especially at this college, especially here, is that while you've been busy studying important things, the real thing that you've been studying has less to do with the various disciplines and all the good work that your professors have been doing with you than it does with the context of that study, the community in which you're embedded. When people come back, like Dr. Grinspoon, to the place where they had their college years, and when they say, those were the best years of my life, part of what they're remembering is how much they enjoyed their classes, but mostly what they're remembering is the incredible rightness of being in a place where for 4 years you get to live the way that most human beings have lived for most of human history, in close physical and emotional proximity to a lot of other people. And sometimes that's a complete pain, you know, but most of the time it's magnificent to always have people to bounce ideas off of and do, that's what we evolved to do. And the wrong turn we took as a society, of course, was to get away from that. The reason that we have half as many friends as people 50 years ago is because we spent the intervening 5 decades hard at work on the project of building bigger houses farther apart from each other, you know? And that's also the reason why we pour so much carbon into the atmosphere. One of the ironies of higher education, or of education in general, is that we bring you here and you have this wonderful community, but one of the sort of subtext is you now are equipped to go out and earn enough money that you'll never have to live this way again, you know? But there's no absolute requirement that you do that. And if you're wise, and I think you are, you'll look for ways all along to try and take some of this community and make it work in the rest of your lives. I got to tell you the truth, which is that I do not know whether we're going to win this epic fight about the climate. There are scientists, as you know, who think we've waited rather late to get started, and there are political scientists who think the odds are simply too great. There's too much money on the other side, and they might be right. But I can tell you, I can guarantee you that the community of concern, of people who want to build movements, who want to fight, now extends in all directions. Last weekend, we convened around the planet what we called Connect the Dots, this day where people everywhere who'd already felt the sting of climate change rallied in those places. And it was incredibly beautiful to watch the pictures coming in from thousands of places around the globe, from people in Afghanistan who have other things to worry about, but were there in their dried up rivers planting trees along the side, or in Pakistan where floods had taken 20 million people out of their homes, or across Vermont where Irene was in some ways an adventure, and in some ways, many ways, the worst tragedy that Vermont has ever endured, and a sign of the power of this new world that we have unleashed. I don't know if we're going to win, but I do know that all around the world, including in places that have done nothing to cause this problem, there are people ready and willing to fight in all the ways that they can. And it's always such an honor for me to get to be in those rooms, and it is such an honor to get to be in this one. And say that I very much look forward in the years ahead to just getting to stand side by side with you and take on these problems and see where we go. There are no guarantees except that involvement and engagement and the kind of love that it comes from is the thing that makes all of this worthwhile. Thank you so much, and so many congratulations.
It's my honor to invite our Dean of Faculty and Graduate Education to the podium.
As Dean of Faculty, it's my honor to announce the recipients of Marlboro's academic prizes. As I read the names of our award recipients, I ask that everyone hold their applause until all the recipients have been announced. Maybe a little applause, but not too much applause. I also ask that each student, as their name is announced, please stand and remain standing until all the prizes have been awarded. The first prize, the Rebecca Willow Prize, established in 2008 in memory of Rebecca Willow, class of 1995, is awarded to a student whose presence brings personal integrity and kindness to the community and who unites an interest in human history and culture with a passion for the natural world. And there are two recipients, Brandon Willits and Jacqueline Ward. The next prize, standing up, very good. The Audrey Alley Gorton Award is given in memory of Audrey Gorton, Marlboro alumna and member of the faculty for 33 years, to the student who best reflects the Gorton qualities of passion for reading and independence of critical judgment, fastidious attention to matters of style, and a gift for intelligent conversation. And there are two recipients, Rebecca Gilday and Abigail Weiss. The Hilly Van Loan Prize, established by the class of 2000 in honor of Hilly Van Loan, Marlboro class of 1962, and staff member for 23 years, is given to the senior who best reflects Hilly's wisdom, compassion, community involvement, quiet dedication to the spirit of Marlboro College, joy in writing, and celebration of life. And there were two recipients for that, Casey Friedman and Eleanor Rourke. The William Davison Prize, created by the Town Meeting Select Board and named in honor of Will Davison, who served as a faculty member for 18 years and as a trustee for 22 years, is awarded to one or more students for extraordinary contributions to the Marlboro community. And there are two recipients, Cookie Harris and Jack Rossiter-Munlin. The Ryan Larson Memorial Prize was established in 2006 in memory of Ryan Jeffrey Larson, who felt transformed by the opportunities to learn and grow within the embrace of the Marlboro College community. It is awarded annually to a junior or senior who best reflects Ryan's qualities of philosophical curiosity, creativity, compassion, and spiritual inquiry. And there are 3 recipients: Alexa Boggs, Jonathan Wood, Trevor Rickenbrode. The Helen W. Clark Prize is awarded by the Visual Arts faculty for the best plan of concentration in the fine arts, and there are 2 of these as well: Joanna Moyer Baddock and Mara Eagle. The Sally and Valerio Montanari Theater Prize is awarded annually to a graduating senior who has made the greatest overall contribution to the pursuit of excellence in theater production. And that award goes to Sarah Grace Latham. Excuse me. The Dr. Lauren C. Bronson Award for Excellence in Classics, established by the family of Lauren Bronson, class of 1973, is awarded to encourage undergraduate work in classics, and I know he's here. The recipient goes to Chester Harper. The Roland W. Boyden Prize is given by the Humanities faculty to a student who has demonstrated excellence in the humanities. Roland Boyden was a founding faculty member of the college, acting president, dean, and trustee. And the award goes to Emma Goldhammer. The Buck Turner Prize is awarded to a student who demonstrates excellence in the natural sciences, who uses interdisciplinary approaches, and who places his or her work in the context of larger questions. And there were 3 recipients: Catherine Lyon, Claire Riley, and Alex Hyam. The Freshman-Sophomore Essay Prize is given annually for the best essay written for a Marlboro course, and the recipient is Aidan Kiva for Eating is a Sacrament, Gary Snyder's Ethics of Eating. And last but certainly not least, the Robert E. Engel Award, established in 2011 in honor of Bob Engel, Marlboro faculty member for 36 years, is awarded to a student who demonstrates Bob's passion for the natural world and his keen powers of observation and inquiry as a natural historian. And the recipient is Joella Simon Adkins. On behalf of the faculty, I want to offer congratulations to all our award recipients.
Shall we do it? Ready? Eva Basin, Bachelor of Arts, Language, Latin American Studies. A study of undocumented Latin American migrants in the United States through a variety of lenses, including history, policy, discourse, and visual culture. Sponsors: Rosario de Swanson, Carol Hendrickson, outside evaluator, Henry Geddes, University of Massachusetts, Amherst. Roni Ben-Ami, Bachelor of Arts, Art History and Literature, an exploration of the struggles with identity through an examination of Michelangelo and Caravaggio, an analysis of 2 20th century novels, and an original collection of paintings. Sponsors: Felicity Rattay, Gloria Biamonte, outside evaluator, Patricia Ann Emerson, University of New Hampshire. Trevor Atkinson Bowen, Bachelor of Arts Physics, an inquiry into modern and classical physics focusing on theoretical foundations, mathematical and computational principles, and the process of scientific research. Sponsor, Sara Salambini. Outside evaluator, Kathy Reeves, Harvard Center for Astrophysics. Michael Brigham, Bachelor of Arts, Cultural History, Performance Studies, an exploration of performance techniques with studies in oral tradition, sociolinguistics, and social interaction. Sponsors, Dana Howell, Carol Hendrickson. Outside evaluator, Michael Huffmaster, visiting professor, Marlboro College. Christine Brown, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Arts, History and Education, an investigation into agency and the personal process of education through the lenses of visual arts and history. Sponsors, Timothy Seeger, John Willis. Outside evaluator, Jeffrey Stucker, Yale University. Marielle Elizabeth Clark, Bachelor of Arts, Art History, Dutch Baroque, an investigation of the issues concerning domestic life during the Dutch Golden Age through a focused analysis of the interiors painted by Johannes Vermeer and a study of the dollhouses produced during the same period. Sponsor, Felicity Rattay. Outside evaluator, Natasha Seaman, University of Rhode Island. Max Kliggett Perlt, Bachelor of Arts, Mathematics and History, a mathematical and historical investigation of issues concerning urban fire departments. Sponsors, Matthew Ollis, Adam Franklin Lyons. Outside evaluator, Gerald Friedman, University of Massachusetts, Amherst. Nick Calora, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, an exploration of the history of psychoanalysis, narcissism, and the critiques of Freud. Sponsor, Thomas Tolino. Outside evaluator, David Johnson, Greenfield Community College, Emeritus. Lillian DeVrier, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Religion, an exploration of the impact of Christianity on adolescent identity development in present-day United States. Sponsors, Thomas Tolino, Amr Latif, John Sheehy. Outside evaluator, Linda Witten, Greenfield Community College. Ian Dallaire, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Psychology, Psychoanalytic Theory, a study of Hegel's influence on Lacanian psychoanalytic theory with a focus on subjectivity and the foundations of knowledge. Sponsors, William Edelglass, Thomas Tolino. Outside evaluator, Charles Shepardson, State University of New York, Albany. Ethan Wolf Hodges Denny, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, a study of the relationship of singularity to socially constructed reality using political theory and dance. Sponsors, Meg Mott, Kristen Hauergen. Outside evaluator, Bridget Hines, independent consultant. Jonathan Donnell, Bachelor of Arts, Film, Video Studies, Writing, an analysis and interpretation of the reasons behind remaking certain films and what characteristics make some films better candidates than others. Sponsors, Jay Craven, John Sheehy, outside evaluator, Bill Phillips, Dartmouth College. Lauren Deshay, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, Queer Studies. A study of the connection between the psychology of mentors and mentoring and the development of a queer identity and the coming out process. Sponsor, Tom Tolino, outside evaluator, Jonathan Mack, State University of New York, Old Westbury, Emeritus. Mara Eagle, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Arts and Art History, a study in visual art and art history exploring the interactions between medium, form, and content. Sponsors, Kathy Osmond, Timothy Seeger, Felicity Rattay, outside evaluator, Mary Lum, Bennington College. Congratulations, Mara. Bye. Come back. We will. Aaron Evan Browning, Bachelor of Arts, Sculpture and Computer Science, an exploration of making interactive objects using the vocabularies of sculpture and computer science. Timothy Seeger, Jim Mahoney, outside evaluator, Laura Frank, founder, Luminex FX. William Finkel, Bachelor of Arts, American Studies, Curatorial Studies, Ceramics, a study of aspects of the American Civil War and local history through intellect, emotion, art, and memory. Sponsors, Catherine Ratcliffe, Adam Franklin Lyons, outside evaluator, Robert Bonner, Dartmouth College. Aaron Gollin, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology Writing, an exploration of the process of identity formation throughout the lifespan, in addition to a collection of free verse poetry exploring this process. Sponsored, Thomas Tolino, T. Hunter Wilson, outside evaluator, Linda Witten, Greenfield Community College. Rebecca Gilday, Bachelor of Arts, Music, Voice Performance, and Musicology, an exploration of the development of the concept of folk in Germany in the early 19th century with its associations with nationalism and its implications in art music. Sponsor, Stanley Sharkey, outside evaluator, Jane Bryden, Smith College. Casey, I guess I just don't want you to graduate, man. Casey Catrill Roth Friedman, Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Politics, International Relations, a study of the United Nations food agencies, their institutional structure, and their efforts to reduce global hunger. Sponsors, James Tolino, Lynette Rummel. Outside evaluator, Lynn Salinger, Senior Economist and Vice President, Associates for International Resources and Development.
I could look at Kim. It was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay. Emma Goldhammer, Bachelor of Arts, Literature, Russian Literature and Philosophy, a multidisciplinary reading of major works of Nikolai Gogol and Leo Tolstoy, incorporating cultural history and literary theory. Sponsors, Geraldine Pittman de Baget, William Edelglass, Dana Howell, outside evaluator, Polina Bashkova, Hampshire College. Cookie Harris, Bachelor of Arts, Dance and Literature, Poetry, an investigation of how the performance of words and actions can shake both performers and viewers into the present moment and awaken kinesthetic experience. Sponsors, Kristen Harrigan, T. Hunter Wilson, outside evaluator, Adele Myers, Connecticut College. Samantha Marin Hull, Bachelor of Arts, Theater, Sociology, an exploration of the silence within trauma and its relationship to change through a multimedia performance piece and research conducted in Uganda and Rwanda. Sponsors, Brenda Foley, Richard Glazier, outside evaluator, Aine Gordon, playwright. Dan Hunderfund, Bachelor of Arts, Sociology, a study of the ways in which people mediate the conditions of different kinds of work with a focus on activism and academic and scientific work. Sponsor, Gerald Levy, outside evaluator, Nahum Brown, University of Guelph. Eric Joyce, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Arts, Photography, Philosophy, a study of landscape and autonomy in the theory and practice of artistic production. Sponsors, John Willis, William Edelglass, outside evaluator, Humberto Ramirez, Vermont College of Fine Arts. Curtis Kimball, who is not attending, is being awarded a Bachelor of Arts, Photography, an exploration of the locality of North Adams, Massachusetts, expressed in photographic work and formal written prose. Sponsor, John Willis, outside evaluator, Jonathan Gittleson, Keene State College. Samuel King, Bachelor of Arts, History and Politics, an investigation of utopian idealism in an historical and political context. Sponsors, Adam Franklin Lyons, Meg Mott, outside evaluator, Penny Gill, Mount Holyoke College. Dylan Naggs, Bachelor of Arts, Mathematics, Statistics, and Politics. A broad study in math and politics with emphasis on statistical methods and their relevance to human rights. Sponsors, Matt Ollis, Lynette Rummel, outside evaluator, James Levinson, Tufts University. Christos Kompoyergas, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Philosophy, an exploration of Lacanian psychoanalytic theory with an emphasis on desire, law, and truth. Sponsors, Thomas Tolino, William Edelglass, outside evaluator, Charles Shepherdson, State University of New York, Albany. Mercedes Lake, Bachelor of Arts, an exploration of apocalyptic imagery and ideology in American culture with an emphasis on domestic militarization in the Cold War. Sponsors, Catherine Radcliffe, Brenda Foley, Outside evaluator, Lee Sanders Shapiro, Hampshire College. Michael Landon, Bachelor of Arts, Environmental Studies, Energy Policy, and Photography, an interdisciplinary study and photographic representation of energy systems with an emphasis on power generation and consumption. Sponsors, James Tober, John Willis. Outside evaluator, Stephen Latendra, Green Mountain College. Sarah Grace Latham, Bachelor of Arts, Theater, Political Theory, an exploration of suicide and grief through an original production and through an analysis of the disciplinary apparatus. Sponsors, Brenda Foley, Meg Mott. Outside evaluator, Christine Evans, Harvard University. Ben M. Lieberson, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Arts, Photography, and Sculpture, a study of constructed and artificial environments in photography, installation art, and live performance. Sponsors, John Willis, Timothy Seeger. Outside evaluator, Jen Morris, Landmark College. Right on cue. Ian Alexander Mahoney, Bachelor of Arts, Liberal Studies, Game Studies, an exploration of the field of game studies with a particular focus on the design of games, their use, and their structures. Sponsors, Matthew Olis, Adam Franklin Lyons, James Tober. Outside evaluator, Anthony Ricano, Rack and Roll Gaming. Annie Malamet, Bachelor of Arts, Art History, Visual Arts, an exploration of empowerment through a study of the paintings of Sofonsiba Anguissola, and an exhibition of video art using martyr iconography to investigate similar themes of self-possession. Sponsors, Felicity Rattay, Timothy Seeger. Outside evaluator, Nicola Courtwright, Amherst College. Ian McCammon, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Film Video Studies. A moral inquiry into jouissance, violence, and the subject in New Extremism cinema, informed by contemporary continental philosophy. Sponsor, William Edelglass. Outside evaluator, Hillary Neroni, University of Vermont.
Slight changing of the guards. Excuse me just a minute. Deborah Meadows, Bachelor of Arts, Literature, an exploration of storytelling and narrative strategies. Sponsors, John Sheehy, Gloria Biamonte, Richard Glazer. Outside evaluator, Joanne Hayes, Greenfield Community College. Daniel Moore, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology and Philosophy, an exploration of politics, psychoanalysis, and subjectivity, drawing on Heidegger, Lacan, and Foucault. Sponsors William Adeglas and Tom Tolino. Outside evaluator Charles Shepherdson, State University of New York, Albany. Joanna Margaret Moyer-Batik, Bachelor of Arts, Photography, Anthropology, a personal study of gender identity in the private sphere through photographic imagery and writing. Sponsors John Willis and Carol Hendrickson. Outside evaluator Heather Diak, Keene State College. Jonathan Notwick, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Arts Writing, an exploration of the theory and practice of narrative photography, incorporating a personal documentary of Levittown, Pennsylvania, as the model suburban community. Sponsors John Willis and John Sheehy. Outside evaluator Jen Morris, Landmark College. Jillian O'Connell, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Arts and Philosophy, an exploration of the relationship between art and social justice in theory and practical application. Sponsors Kathy Osmond and William Edelglass. Outside evaluator Nathan Margalit, Mount Holyoke College. Zachary Christian Moran Parks, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Arts and Philosophy, a visual and philosophical examination of the relationship between machines, technology, and art. Sponsors Timothy Seeger and William Edelglass. Outside evaluator David Lang, independent artist. Allison C. Presswood, Bachelor of Arts, Language, Linguistics, a comparative study of music and language as distinct communicative systems aimed at discovering the fundamental characteristics of human meaning-making practices. Sponsors Grant Lee, Michael Huffmaster. Outside evaluator Louis Qingming Liu, Harvard University. Megan Reed, Bachelor of Arts, Languages, Linguistics, a focus on the distributed morphology model in current morphosyntactic theory by looking at works of those in the forefront of the field today. Sponsor, Grant Lee. Outside evaluator, Louis Qingming Liu, Harvard University. Trevor Theodore Rickenbrode, Bachelor of Arts, Writing and Literature. A meditation in 3 parts on memory, loss, and suicide, including papers on William Faulkner and Marcel Proust, and a collection of original fiction and poetry. Sponsors John Sheehy and T. Hunter Wilson. Outside evaluator Martha Ackman, Mount Holyoke College. Eleanor Rourke, Bachelor of Arts, literature, poetry, and music. An exploration through composition, performance, and critical analysis of the relationships between music and poetry. Sponsors T. Hunter Wilson and Matan Rubenstein. Outside evaluator Martha Ackman, Mount Holyoke College. Austin Rose, Bachelor of Arts, Politics Sociology, an exploration of the production of subjectivity as resistance. Sponsors Meg Mott and Gerald Levy, outside evaluator Jason Michael Adams, Williams College. Jack Rossiter Munley, Bachelor of Arts, Cultural History, Cultural Studies and Politics, International Relations. An examination of how 9/11 shaped the cultural and political landscape of the past decade with fieldwork and supporting theoretical papers. Sponsors Dana Howell and Lynette Rummel, outside evaluator Kevin Rosario, Smith College. Nicholas Rook, Bachelor of Arts, Visual Arts Theater. An examination of change, loss, and absence in photography. Sponsors John Willis and Timothy Seeger, outside evaluator Tom Young, Massachusetts College of Art. Gina Ruth, Bachelor of Arts, Politics and Biology, Women's Health. A study of the politics of women's bodies. Sponsors Lynette Rummel and Jamie Tanner, outside evaluator Bridget Hines, independent consultant. Ashley Sabine, Bachelor of Arts, Sociology and Psychology. A theoretical exploration of the relationship between the individual and society from a sociological and psychoanalytical perspective with a focus on poverty. Sponsors Gerald Levy and Thomas Tolino, outside evaluator C.J. Churchill, Thomas Aquinas College. Anne Saunders, Bachelor of Arts, Philosophy and Literature. A study of artistic engagements with philosophical questions of meaning and ethics in the works of Gerhard Richter and Fyodor Dostoevsky. Sponsors William Edelglass and Geraldine Pittman de Baget. Outside evaluator Ijekina Kirasova, Suffolk University. Joreen Sharef, Bachelor of Arts, American Studies, Ceramics. An exploration of the visual dimensions of consumer culture with an emphasis on the iconology of young womanhood in mass-market women's magazines. Sponsors Catherine Radcliffe and Martina Lanton. Outside evaluator Lisa Saunders Shapiro, Hampshire College. Colby A. Silver, Bachelor of Arts, Cultural History, Conflict Studies, and Art History. A study of cultural heritage in its destruction in the post-war Balkans and its destruction in the post-war Balkans, and a comparative art and architectural analysis of urban spaces and their transformation in the region. Sponsors Dana Howell and Felicity Rattay. Outside evaluator Neil Silberman, University of Massachusetts, Amherst. Joella Marcel Simmons Adkins, Bachelor of Arts, Biology Ecology, an investigation of reproductive biology in birds and flowering plants. Sponsors Jennifer Ramstetter and Jamie Tanner. Outside evaluator Valerie Bonschblock, St. Michael's College. Logan Smith, Bachelor of Arts, Theater Playwriting, a study of playwriting, production, and scene design, focusing on themes of intimacy and violence with visual art exploring modes of characterization. Sponsors Brenda Foley and Timothy Seeger. Outside evaluator Ain Gordon, playwright. Joshua Stern, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, a study of Native American sovereignty and its relationship to state and federal governments and to the courts. Sponsors Meg Mott and John Sheehy. Outside evaluator Peter DeErico, University of Massachusetts, Amherst. Juliana Richardson Stevens, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, Art in Action. Experiments in edging out the cacophony of late capitalism through critical theory poetics and visual art. Sponsor Meg Mott. Outside evaluator Jason Adams, Williams College. Jody Susser, Bachelor of Arts, Sociology, Writing, an investigation of the concept of character as a reflection of society, especially in the post-World War II decades, and as the embodiment of an individual, particularly through examination of characters in monologues. Sponsors Gerald Levy and John Sheehy. Outside evaluator C.J. Churchill, Thomas Aquinas College. Juliet Sutherland, Bachelor of Arts, Film, Video Studies, and Anthropology, an exploration in film and writing of ecotourism and conservation. Sponsors Jay Craven and Carol Hendrickson. Outside evaluator Liz Canner of Astria Media Incorporated. Andrew R. Tanabe, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, Asian Studies, a study of disaster as a turning point for socio-ecological resilience. Sponsors Meg Mott and Seth Harder. Outside evaluator Bridget Hines, independent consultant. Alexander N. Tolstoy, Bachelor of Arts, an exploration of Vermont history in the Revolutionary War era, with an emphasis on the importance of collective identity formation in the process of state building. Sponsors Catherine Ratcliffe and Adam Franklin Lyons. Outside evaluator Kevin Sweeney, Amherst College. Catherine Trahan, Bachelor of Arts, Theater Playwriting, an exploration of the various components of community-based performance and how it provides education, entertainment, and an outlet for a community's voice. Sponsor Brenda Foley, outside evaluator Christine Evans, Harvard University. Michael S. Yulin, Bachelor of Arts, History and Asian Studies. An examination of the global spread of the Grundtvigian folk high school ideal and its capacity to preserve folk craft in China using illustrative cases, literary sources, and ruminations on the creation of Chinese joinery. Sponsor Harder and Adam Franklin Lyons, outside evaluator, Brent Bjorkman, Director, Vermont Folk Life Center. Jacqueline Ward, Bachelor of Arts, History, Historiography, and Literature, Alternative Historical Narratives. An investigation of different methods of speaking about the past, different systems of knowing, and the importance of listening to alternative historical narratives. Sponsors Adam Franklin Lyons, Richard Glazier, and Geraldine Pittman DeBaget. Outside evaluator, Michael Bernard Donalds, University of Wisconsin, Madison. Abigail Weiss, Bachelor of Arts. Literature, Literary Theory, a study of approaches to identity and self-expression in a variety of literary texts with a focus on discursive conflict, intertextual relationships, and translation, primarily investigating the work of Marcel Proust. Sponsors, Geraldine Pittman DeBaget and William Adeglass, outside evaluator, Catherine Legui, Mount Holyoke College. Brandon Willits, who was not able to attend, a Bachelor of Arts, Literature and Writing Fiction, an exploration of themes of wilderness and nature in 20th century American literature, supported by a body of original fiction and nonfiction. Sponsors John Sheehy, Kyle Lindgaard, and T. Hunter Wilson. Outside evaluator, Mark Long, Keene State College. Ian Gabriel Wilson, Bachelor of Arts, Art History and Cultural History, Hungary. Visual cultural identity in the nationalist discourse of turn-of-the-century Hungary, with a focus on the landscape paintings of Károly Ferenczi and the constructed landscape of Budapest. Sponsors, Felicity Rattay and Dana Howell. Outside evaluator, Guru Chakmak, University of Massachusetts, Amherst. Leslie Wilson, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, History, a history of deaf culture and a study of the cognitive processes involved in hearing. Sponsors, Thomas Tolino and Adam Franklin Lyons. Outside evaluator, Anna Berry, Greenfield Community College. Shea G. Witzberger, Bachelor of Arts, Politics, a political exploration of fat thought and action as resistance to sizist culture. Sponsors Meg Mott and Timothy Seeger. Outside evaluator, Lori Schreiner, Healthcare and Rehabilitation Services. And last but not least, Jonathan Wood, Bachelor of Arts, Liberal Studies, Contemplative Studies, and Education. An exploration of the intertwining of ethics, mindfulness, emotions, and education. Sponsors William Adeglass, Ken Schneck, and Thomas Tolino. Outside evaluator, Kate Willey, psychotherapist and meditation teacher. Right here?
Few little stage directions here. Ready? All of you, by the way, all of you have tassels. If you have tassels, grab a hold of them. Here we go.
By the authority vested in us by the State of Vermont and the Board of Trustees,
we now declare you graduates of Marlboro College. Thank you. I'm going to miss you. For the valediction, I bring to the podium our Classics Fellow from Oxford University and Marlboro's town crier, William Gwast, and I ask the audience to remain seated until after the valediction and the recessional, and then to join the faculty and me at a reception in the dining hall up the hill. William Gwast.
Hear ye. In 1946, at about the same time that Walter Hendricks is asking himself what sort of college might appeal to returning GIs, one Frederick Melvin Wheelock, at the time a professor of classics at Brooklyn College, is asking himself, in his own words, why would a vet schooled on the battlefields of Europe and Asia want to study Latin? His answer was a textbook, Wheelock's Latin, which over the last 60 years has become the standard college textbook for Latin teaching, and indeed is a textbook we still use at Marlboro today. At the end of that textbook, when students have finished 2 years of grueling Latin grammar and are about to set sail on the wide open sea of Latin literature, he quotes Cicero in a passage that has become the classic eulogy of the liberal arts. Wheelock offers it as an appetizer. I offer it now as a retrospective for the last 4 years, but also perhaps as an appetizer too for your forthcoming lifelong relationship with the liberal arts. Haec studia adolescentium alunt, senectutem oblectant, secundus res ornant, adversis perfugium ac solacium praevent, delectant domi non imperiunt foris, pernoctant nobiscum, peregrinantur rusticantur. These studies sustain us in youth and delight us in old age. They add to our joy in prosperity, and they provide refuge and comfort in adversity. They give pleasure at home and advancement abroad. They pass the night hours with us, accompany us on the road, and go with us into the country. If these sentiments strike a chord with you, graduates, then we as faculty can be confident that we've done something very right. Thank you.